to put a little bit more meat on the bone, just so people can get a sense of the scale of what's going on here, because I think it's pretty amazing. Just how cold is a black hole? And then maybe how does Hawking radiation occur in a nutshell, and how long does it take?
Okay, I'm not sure I could give you the exact numbers without going through either looking it up or calculating it again. But to give you some sense, so the radiation that we feel as warmth, like when you turn a radiator on and you stand next to it. So first of all, radiation is like light. It's like the light we see, but it has a bit longer wavelength. So maybe 10 times longer than the light we see. That's called infrared. And the kind of temperatures that we feel when we stand next to a radiator, they correspond to these kinds of wavelengths. Now, how big is the wavelength of light? And a few hundred nanometers. So that's like a 10 millionth of an inch, or whatever bizarre units people use in this country. And this light that we can feel as warmth, infrared radiation, has maybe 10 times longer. So it's still, a millionth of an inch or something. It's a very small amount of length that corresponds to the sort of one wavelength of this electromagnetic radiation that we feel as warmth. And the longer the wavelength, the colder it is. Okay, so if you make it 100 times longer than that, you certainly won't feel it as warmth at all. It will be imperceptible. It'll be very cold. The wavelength of the radiation that's emitted by a black hole is comparable to the size of the black hole. Okay, so if you have, for example, a black hole that was formed by a star collapsing, black holes of that type are maybe a kilometer, a couple of kilometers or miles across. Okay, so the wavelength of the radiation emitted by such a black hole will be a mile. Okay, compare that to the millionth of an inch. So that's how cold it is. It's not a significant amount of energy that's emitted by such a black hole. The black hole itself has a massive amount of energy, as much as the mass of a star. And so for this reason, it takes a stellar mass black hole, even if nothing new were to fall into it, which it does, it would take much longer than the age of the universe.
I think
for it
something
to evaporate.
10 to the 80 years, something crazy like that.
Something ridiculous like that. It depends sensitively on how big you assume the black hole was to start with. The black holes that we believe lie at the center of many galaxies, including the Milky Way, are much bigger than that, yet in length, like a million to 10 billion times bigger. So they would be even colder. Of course, in a realistic environment, they're not losing energy at all, because there's matter and radiation present in their neighborhood, and that actually keeps making them even larger than they already are.